Alright, let's go get him. Get that. Oh, who's that out there? Is that Roaddog? Who's that out there tonight? Who's out there tonight? Foxman362 waving on backup from Rockwood, Tennessee on the Quad 5 tonight. I was on my October 139 a few minutes ago. Breaker 26 for the radio checks. This radio working on a Quad 5 TopGun's technology radio. I'm running barefoot tonight on the Mako V5000. I was on my 4-element beam about 15 minutes ago with Roaddog on channel 19 a few minutes ago. And you heard me pretty good out there tonight. Is that Roaddog out there? Who is that out there? I hear someone way out in the distance. I just want to say good evening to y'all out there from Foxman362 up in Rockwood, Tennessee on the Quad 5 tank. Now, I just talked to Roaddog a few minutes ago on channel 19. He heard me out there on the beam antenna. So I hear you out there on my Mako V5000 tank. There's a guy out there I hear, somebody out there. So I think that's why Skip's not happening tonight, because the Northern Lights, that's what's happening, because we had a geomagnet storm, I think yesterday, then tonight there's one. The Northern Lights had reached far south to New York and stuff like that. And I think that's why we're not getting late night conditions at late hours. Maybe we'll get one in a few days. Let me see Roaddog's on channel 19. Give me 19 check. Breaker 19 for a radio check. I'm on the Quad 5 radio. See? Breaker 19 for a radio check. Hey, is that Roaddog? Yeah, that's Foxman. That's me. You're hitting a solid 9. I was on the beam antenna a few minutes ago. This is the Quad 5 radio I'm talking on the Mako V5000, running barefoot.
Yeah, but 9 or 10 up at the edge of red now.
Yeah, you're hitting a solid 9 right now. Same thing I had you on the Quad 5 minute ago on the beam antenna when I pointed to. But this is the Mako V5000, about 21 feet off the ground. And this is the orange radio I talked to you a few nights ago. I'm sure you saw that video on that one.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, it's Mako V, Quad 5, dude. About 10 or 11 more of that shit.
Yeah, this Mako 5000 I did a lot of months of about 2 or 3 years ago. The only thing I did during last year, I had changed out the coax when I hit the coax cord on the RG58 on one of the ends. So this one runs on an RG2113 down to an Alpha Delta. You know an Alpha Delta, it's one of those ground rods that go into the rod, and you change out the cartridge in case a lightning strike happens. So I don't run them during thunderstorms. And I have an RG58 just runs right through here into the Quad 5. So it runs through that on a ground rod and it goes up to the Mako V5000. And what I did with the Mako 5000 back several years ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago, when I adjusted right on the Nano VA, I have one of those devices that can see the SWR, and I never touched it ever since when I did. It's been quite the same ever since I got this thing on there, when I did a lot of months to put the thing together. Didn't have to do any trimming to the antenna, just line it up and all that stuff. The hard part you had to do is the ring. So yeah, the only part is what you do on the Mako 5000, it's the ring when you adjust the SWR, and that's how you do that. And that's what I did. And I spray paint this all barbecue spray paint black, and it's never been worn out ever since. And it's got like ropes on it. It's got mule tape ropes. It's like 4,000 pounds on each one of them in case the wind doesn't blow. I have it on bricks on the roof, and I got one in a rod in the ground. So if we get like a tornado, this thing will get whipped out of the wind. So that's why I put mule tape and I paint them all black, so in case we get like large winds. And the only thing, this thing came close to a tornado once back a few months ago. This thing did pretty good, and the beam antenna survived. So it missed us about maybe 5 miles away from us. It was on the plateau. We're in the valley. But this antenna I never had a problem. The only thing I do once in a while, I just pop the ground reaches back in. I just slide them back in, not pull them out. That's what I do, and that's it. And so, and one time it took me 6 months to find this pipe for the last pipe that goes on the top of it. I had to get a 1 foot, a 12-inch, 1 foot plumber's height at Lowe's to fit the Mako V5000 in its hole, and that's what I did. And it's got these 2 10-foot poles I got from Lowe's. You get an IO11. That's where all my pipes came from, Lowe's. That's the only way I ran on a lot of my stuff with the Mako 5000 and the beam antenna.
I heard that. You're getting a 9 swinging disc through the edge of the rail to the 10. If you know when it's 2517, what the meters look like. You're flat at 9 there, no doubt.
Not bad, 9 pounds, almost 60 miles away. That's good. Well, you're in a mobile setup or on a base station setup antenna?
I'm on 2517 base radio.
Wow, sounded good on that radio. But what kind of antenna are you running, a mobile or a base?
I was a Mako V5000.
Oh, the same kind of antenna I have. Yeah, the one I bought off from Copper Electronics back 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, that's how I did it. And it could actually fit the size of my porch, my back porch, my radio room. That's how I set the Mako 5000 inside the house when I lined it up 18 foot. And I did it on some YouTube videos. Somebody actually showed how to do it to get the SDO perfect. So I ran a Nano V on it. And I had to put it on a tripod, on one of these satellite dish tripods before I set it all up. And I had it on the ground for several months when I tried it out. And this thing runs pretty good SWR. The serial is the antenna I talked on a while ago. It runs on an antenna matcher I run it on. But this one I don't run on antenna matchers. It's just plain barefoot, and the SWR is perfect. I can go down to 26 megahertz or stay on the 27 megahertz and the free band channels. And this is the one that talked all the way to South Africa one time. I told you the last time I talked to you out here. But yeah, you're sounding good out there on the audio. Very loud.
Roger that. We appreciate it. It's kind of a wintertime rig here. That's what we're going to use this winter probably. And that's usually when I fire it up by this time of year, run it till springtime.
Yeah, that's going to be good when the leaves fall, and I can be able to get out a little bit better with all the leaves out here where I'm at. That's what I'm saying. But I'm going to tell you like that. Let me pause this video for a second. I'm going to be putting this on YouTube a little later. I'll tell you in a few seconds. Hold on a second.
I'll do that.
So I'll give you a good audio report, so then you'll be able to, I'll be putting this on YouTube later tonight. I just like to do that so people can actually hear what they sound like.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I hang out on channel 24 a lot of times. Channel 24 is my home channel. Been the home channel since probably 1977.
Wow, you've been around since 77. That's cool. I've only been here for almost 5 years in Rockwood, but I used to live in Florida a long time ago, to North Florida for several years, and I live with my family. And I went through Hurricane Andrew a long time ago back in Homestead, Florida, where the eye actually hit Leader City. I talked to Bobcat about that. He used to live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, because things back in the 90s were pretty quite bad. But I was in one of those 1950s homes with a flat roof, and then we had a 60-foot royal palm tree came through the night in the eye. And we're only like 2 miles west of Homestead Air Force Base back then.
Roger that. I've been down in Florida probably 12, 14, 15 times probably throughout my life. My parents always vacationed in Florida, different areas every time.
Yeah, roger that. And I lived in North Florida for 12 years, I think it was, from 1998 to 2009. I lived outside the Lake City, Florida area back then. My parents had a farm for 12 years until my dad got laid off with Bell South and AT&T when they had to merge. And my dad was in the Navy for 12 years once back in the 90s during the Persian Gulf War and the Beirut War. And he used to be electronic warfare in the Navy when he did Navy ships and stuff. That's what he did. And my dad served for his country for a long time. But also then when he got laid off with AT&T, my dad went apply for the Air Force Base for a citizen job for phone lines and stuff. And the Air Force in Utah took them in, and my dad worked for 12 years there. and until he had that stroke back in 2019. Ever since it happened, that's why I moved to Tennessee here, because my mom was born in the state, and she was born out of Crossville, Tennessee, back in the 50s. Especially the Crane family, where she's related from. Both my grandparents have been passed away several years ago.
I'd copy all that. Ain't no doubt. I've copied all that. Yeah, I'd like to live in Florida, but I too expensive to move down there now. So I just stay out here in Tennessee.
Roger that. This is Highway 27. It'll go all the way to Florida. I've been through Highway 27 back in the 90s with my family to the theme parks and all that stuff. It was different back then. But also, my great-grandfather in Crossville, Tennessee, you know, like the Homestead Tower, the one that did the original tower back in the 30s. He actually worked on this tower back in the day, and he was my great-grandfather, my grandpa's father back then. That's what it is. And he goes by in that area back then. But yeah, my great grandparents survived the Great Depression back in the 30s.
I heard that.
Roger that, man. Now it sounded good on the radio tonight, pretty good. But I haven't heard. I just finally got on the radio today, and I did a new video update on my radio room. And me and my mother, we had to put this on dark tint on the windows so we could cool this room down a bit. And took these old curtains down, but I still had the rods in. This room is dated from 1992 when I looked under this porch before, but it's got a basement down before, and it's one of these old homes from the 70s out here.
Yeah, for yeah, I'm fixing to. Me and my girlfriend been together for 14 years. We're fixing to get married there. Gonna get married here in a couple months. But we'll probably stay out here.
Roger that. Yeah, because Florida's gonna get a lot of hurricanes. It's got a lot of. It's not like it used to be now. It's kind of different. But yeah, especially like when I lived in Utah, they actually have at least 9 months of winter, and usually 3 months of summer. And usually winter starts like around maybe around early November and goes on to April. And we still live in an area up in Pleasant View, Utah, up in Ogden, Utah. And plus, my dad we got into Utah in the valleys the first time. But I'm used to have like 25 inches of snow up there. But here, the worst I've seen was like 8 to 6 inches here in Rockwood. That's the only time. But nothing like compared like I lived in Utah back then.
Well, I just jump up Ch19. This radio shop up here's got my ears plugged.
Oh, okay. You got a CB shop. I heard Appalachian Electronics. Someone actually told me about these guys. And there's a guy that works on radios out there in western Knoxville. But some people told me about him before.
He's just 4 miles up the road from me.
Appalachian Electronics or the other place you're talking about?
He's up at exit 56.
Probably about 70 miles away. I didn't know that's a CB shop. But yeah, I found a list of them before. But yeah, but I'm sure you get your radios repaired a lot of times out there. But I'm sure you got a lot of different radios out there on other ones like base stations and stuff like that. I have at least three tube radios. I have an Inco, which needs repairs, and I have a ComSat 35, and I have a Robin 123B I bought about 2 months ago. Got a good deal on for $67, almost $70. And it's a 40 channel modified one instead of 23 channel.
Hey, dear boy. Yeah, we ought to just jump up to Ch19 so I can hear the whole conversation.
Alright, I'm going to let you get on out here tonight, Roaddog. We'll talk again soon from FoxMan362. And I'll put this video out there on YouTube so people will be able to see how loud. But, man, you're about 40 miles away and you're sounding good tonight. Thanks for the talk to me out there. We'll talk again soon. You have a good night. We're 10-7. Hope we get some more DX tomorrow out here. And hope the weather stays good. Hope we don't get any more thunderstorms. That'd be quite nice for a while.
Yeah, I was saying jump up to Ch19 on my home channel.
Okay. Yeah, people let you know if you're on your home channel. Maybe they'll talk to you out there on Skip. That'd be quite nice. You have a good night, Roaddog. We'll catch you later from FoxMan362, 10-7. Tomorrow's happy 10-4 day tomorrow. And have a good one out there. We'll catch you later.
Just give me a yell on Ch19 anytime you want to.
Okay, roger that. 10-7, we're out of here. Have a good night. So that was Roaddog. So
Do the same right there, folks, man. Have a good week, you.
So that's Roaddog. He's on channel 24 up here. This is the channel you should check out. He has a CD shop in his area in Athens, Tennessee. I didn't know there was like 3 or 4 of them. There's got to be more. I didn't know that. That'd be quite cool. So you guys should check it out when you get some time. And look that up, Adoration Electronics or something like that. So we'll see you guys later. Have a good night. We'll catch you later. And you have a good night out there. We'll catch you guys later. UDX362 over East Tennessee. From the Foxman 362. We had some great videos tonight. We'll catch you guys later.
Fox, man. You make it up here.
Come on, man. Yeah, I'm here.
I wouldn't know you copied my copy or not.
I can hear you out there, Roaddog. Yeah, I know this channel very well. Rooster actually talks on this channel, and he talks on channel 18 on Tube Radios and 26. Rooster has talked about this on this channel a while back. I've heard him before on this channel way back then when I first came here.
Yeah, kind of an inside joke about his home channel here, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, I've been telling a lot about my live streams about Rooster out there and plus his 2 radio, and I told him the channels they hang out on 18 and 24 and 26. In case people can talk to him on Skip, that'd be quite nice. And a lot of guys have bought stuff from. Some like UDX guys have bought radios from Rooster.
Yeah, I'm glad he keeps his channel alive.
Yeah, the only thing I run on a beam antenna, I have an RCA rotor, and it's very easy to do. They're very easy to calculate, but they do like when it's like 26 degrees, it's like 260 degrees. That's how the whole thing works, and you can calculate them. They're pretty easy to set up. But what I did my rotor back last October, I put bearing grease inside of it. I had to make sure I did that. I bought some bearing grease last year. I still have it. It's green stuff that goes inside of it, and I put in the sprockets. I packed it up pretty good of grease inside it to make sure it lasts a long time with this. It's got like small tight sprockets. It's like those kind of you know, like motorized bicycle clutches. That's what they look like inside of these rotors. What this one has, this cheap version of this RCA type one I use. And it does pretty good.
I got some 4 elements. I'm going to do 2 rotors on it where I can change it to a 45. So run completely flat. Change it to whatever angle I want to.
Yeah, the only how I set this thing up when I got the beam antenna, it took me several attempts. The first time when I raised it up, I couldn't get it up because I had my pole too long. Then I had to, and when I bend it pretty bad when I did it back last year, I had to cut off the bad end on the bottom in this pole when I slide it up. Then I was going to try to make it almost 40 to 60 feet, which I couldn't do it, but I got it to 22 feet. That's how I did it. I cut off like 1 foot of the bad section of the pole inside when it bent. Then when I had to re-drill the same holes, and then I slide it back in at least 5 foot inside the pole. That's how I did that to rise that thing. And I'm sure you saw that video what happened back a couple of months ago with the tree happened laying on my house.
I heard that. Yeah, my 4 elements are only 20 foot right now. I got one 20-foot section of pipe slid inside of another 20-foot section. So it wouldn't be no problem to go 40 foot. I'm just going to go 36 foot, but and do that angle, 45-degree angle or whatever, change the angle when I want to, and call it done. I've been talking to Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
200 watts on the flat side.
Yeah.
On all winter. Cool. And part of the spring. Down there though, what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. Down there in the Cactus Patch. Old snake doctor.
Oh. Oh, okay. I know who Snake Doctor is. I've seen his videos a while back in Arizona. I've seen him back in Utah. He does those giant Cobra 2000s I've seen. Those nice radios, those custom made ones. Yeah, I knew I've seen Snake Doctor on YouTube a while back.
Yeah, it was no problem. Talk to him every morning at 10 o'clock through the winter on the flat side on the Cobra one of those new October3 LX digitals. I got it hooked up to a Texas Star 250 on the flat side, and this is like me and you talking all the way to Arizona.
Yeah, I talk to Arizona all the time on my President Grant and plus my October 39 a while back. And I've talked to Arizona back several months ago when the DX was kind of knocked out for several months. It was on the sideband area, but I think it was like 4 months with radio blackouts. And the only thing I got contacts is the Caribbean. But back a few months ago, I talked to Arizona. I talked to Arizona, I think 2 weeks ago. Some of our UDX guys like UDX382 Arizona and UDX268. And the guy with the UDX268 donated me some free stuff. He gave me a Wilson speaker for free, and he donated a President Randy 2 for free, and he gave me these National Park gloves, and also he donated a Wilson 1000 for free to me, and a Striker AR-10 SR for free. And I had to do it all myself to trim the antennas for those antennas to get the right SWRs when I used the Nano VA on it. So that was pretty cool. He donated antennas for free, and he bought them from Wilcott Radio.
I heard that. That's cool. Yeah, I usually switch over to the ground plane, follow its way around springtime. Make it back to the flat side about October, November.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Maybe I'll be able to hear you on your beam. But what kind of beam do you have? Mine is a 4-element serial, which I bought it from Copper Electronics. It's one of those cool things. Have those kind of nice screws on them. And the way I did mine, I had a heat shrink where the plastic parts is. I had to buy some heat shrink wrap, the big stuff that comes in like little small white boxes. You can get them at Harbor Freight, and they have that large heat shrink tube. It's like 4 foot long, and you can use them on your beam antenna. So I used it on the plastic part of the beam antenna because I learned it on a video how this guy did it. So I sealed it with heat shrink wrap where these X screws so they don't get rusted inside or water inside of it. That's what I did.
Yeah, there's 4-element serials.
Yeah, this one is like, the antenna I had, the 4-element series, like 19 foot long on the back side of the boom. That's where the point direction is. And most of it are all 8 foot long on both sides, total 18 feet. And the beam antenna, the boom is about, the link is about 13 foot long, that's it. And it weighs about 13 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah, there's serial Yankees. I don't know if you got the Yankees, that's what they say on the instruction.
My beam antenna is a serial SY27 S4. That's what the model is. It's one of the largest 4-element beams you can get from serial. That's what I have here.
Okay, Uncle.
But too bad they can't modify it. I think somebody can modify the gamma match, but the gamma match is pretty quite small. But I had to spray paint the way I did it for months when I set it up and did all the stuff. And what it has on the coax, it has a 50 foot of RG213, and it has an RG58, about another 50 foot that runs in here. And I have an RG58U, like the double antenna, like you hook up 2 things at the same time with it. And it runs into the amplifier, and another RG58 that runs into my October3 radio. That's how it works. But before that, it's actually hooked up in the antenna matcher. That's how that thing. Because I have it on an antenna matcher called MFJ Bouncer Line Tuner, MFJ974H, and I bought this antenna tuner for like $140. They usually go for like $300 on eBay, which I bought it for a good deal on a cheap price. It came with the plug for the light and stuff like that. And the way you run an antenna tuner, just hook up your Nano VA to it, and you run your beam antenna into the tuner and from the amplifier. And what you do with that, you just tune the knobs for it, and your SWRs go a little bit low, and you can look at the whole entire frequency. It's a device called a Nano VA, and they're like $40. You can get them, and they're a lifesaver. As long as you don't transmit on the Nano VA, you'll be okay. I actually have fried one of them before, and I had to rebought one back several months ago to get one off Temu. And they're cool devices. You can use them on your mobile antenna to check out the SWR once in a while, because these things are pretty cool little devices.
Yeah, buddy, man. I just been, I don't know, it's been over 20 years ago. We put him a tower, 100-foot tower up, and put 2 sets, a set of 4 elements, stacked on each top of each other, co-phase them, hooked them to a 12 pill.
Holy crap.
That has a loud sound, heard.
Wow, that's pretty mega for 12 pill. That's probably almost probably more than like 5 to 6,000 watts. That's pretty cool, man. At least you can get out pretty good with those kind of antennas. And then people in Australia, that you can hear my sideband. I talked to one guy out there several months, 2 weeks ago, and I made it all the way to Tasmania, Australia on my 4-element beam. They're running like 10 element beams down in Australia when you hear these guys on 38 and 37.
Those people up north tell him he needs to turn it down. It's so loud up in New York.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So I'm going to kill this video in a second and let you hear what you sound like later. I'll put that out there on YouTube. And I'm going to stop my video here on